Love that porn music. Hey guys, welcome to WagerTalk TV. I'm Carmine Bianco. It is Tuesday, $2 Tuesdays over at WagerTalk, and it is stoppage time. We are almost near the end of the European seasons. We have 3 tournaments still to go, all the finals set for those ones. And we have 3 big games to discuss. These are going 2 games tomorrow, 1 game on Thursday, and then we'll be back Thursday with the final EPL weekend. A lot of relegation battle games going, and we're going to discuss those ones. But on today's card, we're going to do tomorrow's game, Brighton and Man City. We're going to do Man United and Chelsea. And then we're going to do the Italian Cup final, Fiorentina and Inter Milan. With me from WagerTalk.com, Kevin Dolan, Brian Power, and Pavlos and Bryan. Let's bring them in. Kev, I'm going to go to you first, man. You are on a super roll right now with your sides, 52 and 29 with soccer sides. Man, you're rolling along. Tell me you got some big plays loaded.
Yeah, we got the full week loaded, Carmine, right up until Friday. I'll start working on the weekend games tomorrow. But yeah, as you said, great run right now. 52-29 across the last 81. Up over 60 units of profit on those side plays. We had a winning weekend in MLS. Europe was really good for us on Saturday as well. We came off a winner in Empoli last night as they pumped Juventus over in Serie A. And yeah, we got a bit fortunate on our Sunday play. 5% big play over in Brazil. Flamengo took a while to get going on that one, but finally got the goal. So yeah, things going really well right now. And obviously, you know, looking for more of the same across the midweek card as well.
Love to hear it, Kev. Keep pumping out those winners as we as this season winds down, and we have some summer stuff as well too. We have, I think it's a moneymaker. The Women's World Cup. It was a moneymaker last time out, and it will be again this season. And then there's the League Cup, guys. If you're unaware of what the League Cup is, it is a new tournament in a World Cup format that is going to be this summer with every single MLS team and all the League MX teams from Mexico, of course, all in a World Cup format, 3 teams per group. And it's going to be a great summer of soccer. So it is great. So there's always a tournament. There's always money to be made. So this the season does not end. Pavlos, I'm going to bring you in as well too. I know you have a big play loaded in League One for the weekend, and you're on a pretty damn good roll with League One, 10-1 with 4% plays in League One. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been by far my most profitable season and profitable league, this League One, and they don't get much action, but there's always a lot of interesting angles there. And I found one on Saturday. I have a big 5% top bet for Saturday. I play on the totals. The line just as projected. I also mentioned that in the write-up. Just changed a little bit, but it's still playable, still within the line parameter. And yeah, number 2 at WagerTalk in 5% releases since June with 40 and 21. That was the start of the soccer season. Looking to finish at the top because there's a marginal from the gap from the first to second at WagerTalk. So I just have this play loaded for Saturday. I didn't like any midweek plays. I do have a free play loaded for the US Open Cup tonight, and if anything else comes up, I'll just load it at the page. But one big play for me for Saturday.
Love it, Pavlos. Keep pumping those out, and I'm looking forward to. I hope you're making it to the WagerTalk meet and greets August 19th for those of you out there. It's going to be a cool weekend. A lot of people coming in that weekend from WagerTalk. And of course, we have our WagerTalk locals who are already in Vegas. And it's always a great party at the Westgate. Come over, have some drinks, have some food, and talk face to face with the guys on this show and some of the other WagerTalk shows. Let's bring in Brian. Brian, I already know you're winning in soccer. So I don't even want to talk about soccer with you. But you are on a 12-2 MLB run, and you have a 5% play up tonight. I expect to get a text message from you on that play later. But tell us what is going on.
Yeah, it has been an incredible run. Let's start with the good here. 12-2, as you just mentioned, last 14 in MLB. Carmine swept the last 2 days. Not only am I number one the last 3 days and last 7 days in baseball, number one going all the way back to last October in the playoffs, up 73.3 units with all baseball during that time. It's a 73-42-1 run. And yes, I do have a very rare 5% play going tonight. Going back to bowl season last December, I'm number one at WagerTalk with all 5% plays across the board. I've hit 73% of them. So this is definitely one you're going to want to pick up. I am fully transparent, of course. It was a good weekend in soccer. Had a couple nice wins. Sociedad didn't even need the half goal against Barcelona. That was a great win. Stuttgart, same thing. There are friends at Stuttgart. I've been very adamant all year. They're going to avoid relegation. They didn't need the half goal either, beating Mainz. But yesterday was disappointing with just a couple head-scratching results. I did not have Salernitana scoring twice on Roma on my format sheet, Carm, nor did I have a goalless draw in Leicester-Newcastle on my format sheet. But we're taking today off in soccer. We'll be back with a big card tomorrow, a 3-pack, and I'm going to give one of those 3 plays away for free here on the show momentarily.
All right, good to hear. And listen, I watched that Leicester game as well too, and they went in with the mindset of let's just have 10 guys behind the ball. Let's defend for as long as we can defend, and see if we can get a point out of this game, which is a big point for them. But they are still mired in that 18th spot, and they're going to need a little bit of help. They're going to need to win on the weekend, and they're going to need a little bit of help in order to avoid relegation. And we're going to talk about that game on Thursday's card. Myself, last 365 days, both in soccer and hockey, up over 80 units in both. It's been a damn good run in both. And I have a 5% play up in the NHL tonight. This is a can't-miss play. You got to grab it over at WagerTalk, 5% play. And we'll talk about tonight's game on Puck Time at the top of the hour, myself and Andrew McInnes, who returns back into his hosting seat. Quick note before we go into the first game. Fernando in our chat's asking of us about no La Liga today. The problem is with those games is by the time a lot of people watch this video after it's posted, those games have already gone off. But I will tell you this, Fernando. I have a play up in the free play section at WagerTalk, which is Real Sociedad first half, minus a half a goal, minus 105. I really like that play. And a play that I loaded for clients yesterday that's not available for sale, and it's just as well too, is Sociedad full game -1, minus 120. That line has now gone up to 1.5. A win today by Sociedad puts them pretty much in the driver's seat for that 4th and final spot, Champions League spot in La Liga. So the top 3 spots are already confirmed. So there's a couple plays. You can play them halftime, you can play them full time, and you can play them halftime, full time, and get some plus money out of that. With that said, let's get to the first game. Brighton and Man City, the newly crowned EPL champions. Brighton plus 306. The draw is plus 330. Man City minus 130. Pavlos, I am going to go to you first on this one. Then I'll go to Kevin and Brian. All you guys are going to have thoughts on this one. Is there a City hangover? Because they celebrated that championship on Sunday. There's probably a lot of champagne drinking. How do they recover? Does Pep use a makeshift lineup here, or does he want to keep the good mojo going with this team with the FA Cup final and the Champions League final ahead for him still?
I think there's bound to be just a little bit of hangover, but Pep knows very well to keep his, his squad, his soldiers, if you will, focused on the task at hand. The season is still not over. The APL is over, yes, for them, but they still have just a little bit of road to finish the season. And I'm not so sure who he's going to use in the match against Brighton. Of course, we saw against Chelsea, they pretty much the entire starting lineup was out. He started a bench squad, but that bench squad has a lot of quality players. But still, I think this is not going to be Manchester City's squad with all the stars in it. I think he's going to protect some players because, again, they have very important matches coming up, and they surely don't want to get a tough injury or something in an indifferent match against Brighton. And Brighton, they're fighting. They're fighting. They've been really, really good this season. Right now, they're sitting at the 6th spot, which is a Europa League spot. They need just 1 point today in order to clinch that spot. Aston Villa, they're 3 points behind, and the two are playing against each other in the final match day. So Brighton, they want to get this done. They don't want to, fight it out with Aston Villa in the final match day. So I think this is going to be at least, Brighton not losing the first half. And now this season, in first halves at home, Brighton have 5 wins, 10 draws, which are the second most in the league, and just 3 losses. And Manchester City in first halves on the road, they have 8 wins, 7 draws, and 2 losses. So again, with the projection that Manchester City will not use their best lineup, and with Brighton looking for at least 1 point out of this match, I think we're going to see a very tight first half. Maybe the under 1.25 goals in the first half is something to go, consider. But I'm taking Brighton plus the quarter goal in the first half. I think that's the best way to approach this match. I think we're going to see a very, very careful first half between the two sides, and Brighton will not be losing at halftime.
All right, Pavlos, I like it. Kev, I'm going to go to you next on this one. I'm going to be cheering for, I'm going to tell you right now, while I won't have any money on it, Kev, I'm going to be cheering for Man City. And for one reason only, between this game and their final game of the season at Brentford, I need 2 points from City. I have a wager on City, 90 points or more this season, plus 125. I'd really like to cash that ticket. But these are 2 meaningless games for them. Give me your thoughts on this one.
I've already fired on Brighton in this one, Carmine. I really like the value plus a half a goal, a plus money even at that. And, for multiple reasons, you guys talked about the letdown spot, but, what the Zorbi's been able to do at Brighton this season has just been phenomenal. I think most people probably expected a bit of a drop-off, after Potter left, but he's basically got them into a European spot. I mean, it would be a big, shock if they didn't get in right now from where they are. He's got Evan Ferguson playing like a prime, Gabriel Batistuta in there up front as well. I mean, Pavlos is probably sweating right now because, he'll be going over there, Ferguson, with the rest of the Irish squad to Athens next month for the Euro qualifiers. And the form that he's in right now, I'm guessing, I'm just throwing out scorelines 3 or 4-0 right now to Ireland, I'm guessing. And, it's just been unreal. No other team has a higher offensive XG in the league at home since February 1st than this Brighton side do. The Seagulls are putting up, it's absurd, 2.73 XG per game on average inside the Amex Stadium. So, City are in the clear, obviously. The league title's won, is done and dusted. They do have 2 huge games coming up, as we know, in the FA Cup final, Champions League final, respectively. Pep potentially becoming only the second man in England to guide his team to a treble. So, while the letdown spot is predominantly there, I honestly believe even if this was just straight up, I'd still take a piece of Brighton the way they're playing at home across 2023. So, yeah, this is a play that's already made my card for Wednesday, Brighton plus a half.
All right. Brian, I'm going to go to you for the final word on this. And when I look at this one and whether I want to bet it or not, I'm literally going to wait till an hour before the game when the lineups get posted, unless there's some information from City and from Pep on how he's going to play these final 2 games. Because quite frankly, whatever lineup he fields is not going to affect any race right now that is happening. You could say it affects Aston Villa, who are trying to catch Brighton, but I don't think I think that's the least of his worries. This is a team also that has scored 93 goals in the Premier League, 148 goals, I believe, across all competitions, the 2 domestic leagues and Champions League as well too. If they've got a half decent lineup in there, would you look at the total on this one?
Well, Carmine, I know you really want those 2 points. I can tell you really want those 2 points, but unfortunately, I'm going to make it 3 for 3 here on Brighton. And just to clarify something here, going through the various scenarios and permutations, it is basically a lock that Brighton is finishing top 6 and will be Europa League bound. Just to clarify for everyone who may be unaware, City and United, they were in the cup final. So and United's almost certainly going to finish top 4. So the Europa League spot gets passed down to the league. So number 6 that goes to the Europa League. And for Brighton not to finish top 6, not only would they have to lose their 2 remaining matches, but there'd have to be a 17-goal swing in favor of Aston Villa, which does not seem likely. I don't know how anyone else feels about that, but a 17-goal swing, I don't think it's going to happen because Brighton is such a better goal difference than Villa. So, but that being said, De Zerbi is on the record saying we want the Europa League, not the Conference League. And to make it official, they need just 1 point from the last 2 matches. We're better to earn it than at home. Seagull supporters should be ecstatic, right? Because they guaranteed themselves European football over the weekend. First time ever, I might add. So it's going to be kind of an atmosphere like what City experienced over the weekend, right? At home, a lot of celebration in the air. City obviously wanted to give their supporters something to celebrate besides the Premier League trophy. So they went out and scored early against Chelsea before packing it in and taking the 1-0 win. It's funny, last week on the show, we thought there was a chance Chelsea might close +2, right? But when Arsenal lost to Forest, line goes in the other direction. They wound up closing +1. On the road, I just don't think City has any reason to go for it early like they did against Chelsea. I think they're going to be a lot more content here with another match on the weekend and obviously the 2 big cup finals to look forward to. So, like these guys said, Brighton's desire to get that 1 more point is the difference of the handicap for me here. And like these guys, overall, I've really liked Brighton this season. For what it's worth, they're ahead of both Liverpool and United in both expected points and expected goal difference. Like Kevin, this is on my card for tomorrow. Take the half a goal, 4% play for me. Brighton cares. Not sure City will.
All right. There you have it. Yes, I am cheering for the 2 points. I am. We'll see where they get it from. But it's going to be a good game nonetheless. And I hope Pep at least has some of his lineup in there. I would think he would probably use a few of them. I think De Bruyne and Holland aren't going to find the field. They're not going to get anywhere near that field, I think, for at least this game against Brighton. And to your point of Aston Villa and overturning the 17 goals, 9-0 Villa exact score pays about 500 to 1. I know Pavlos is going to have a little bit of money on that one come Sunday when the EPL shuts down. Another game, and I can't think of 3 better guys I want talking about Chelsea than you 3. It is Man United and Chelsea. The odds on this one, United minus 162. The draws plus 337. Chelsea plus 394. Let's give Chelsea a little bit of credit. They hung in there against a somewhat watered down Man City squad that had clinched it after Arsenal lost on Saturday. Kev, I'm going to go to you first on this one. I know you're a huge supporter of Frank Lampard in this team. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. Like, Raheem Sterling had a couple of good chances in that game as well. But, you know, it just goes on and on for Chelsea. You're talking about a team with the 4th fewest goals scored on the road across 2023 so far. So, you know, even at the current line here, +1. Plus the fact, United only need a single point over the last 2 games to lock in that Champions League spot. I still can't take Chelsea, just given that inability to score. And plus their mountain injury crisis as well. They do have so many players out of that lineup as well. So I faded United last weekend. We talked about that game last week. On last week's show, I took Bournemouth plus 1.25. That was nice, half winner there. But it was mostly due to the fact that United's really poor road form is why I took Bournemouth in that game. Not so much when United return home. They are a lot stronger here. But we just mentioned Chelsea's issues in front of goals across 2023. Man United are right alongside them when you talk about road form, just 10 goals scored on the road since January 1st. But like I said, at home, Red Devils, completely different animal. Only Manchester City have posted a better defensive XGA than United have at home across 2023 so far. So because of that, I lean under in this one from a totals perspective. But even without the urgency to win for United here, I still don't see anything other than a United win on home soil. They're so strong at Old Trafford, given Chelsea's depleted squad, given their goal-scoring troubles as well. So plus 240 looks like a really big price in United to win this one by exactly 1 goal on Thursday. That's something that's happened in 2 of United's last 4 Premier League games, 4 Premier League wins inside Old Trafford, I should say. So, yeah, I like the under. I also like the big value on that. United to win by exactly 1 goal. Plus 240. I think that's value.
All right. Kevin Dolan at WagerTalk.com, and he's on a great roll on soccer sides, 52-29. Great little run there. Pavlos, I'm not sure if you're cheering for Chelsea in midweek or not. I know one team that is, and that is Liverpool. Liverpool would like nothing better than the Blues to go to Old Trafford and get a win. So it would set up a final Sunday in which a Liverpool win and a United loss at home to Fulham would get Liverpool into the Champions League. Any shot of that even happening? That's quite the Jenga or jigsaw puzzle we have going there. But any chance of that happening, Pavlos?
Yeah, we can't rule out anything. I mean, you see how Chelsea are struggling this season. They spend more money than entire leagues, in the top 5 leagues, and they still can get it going. So anything is possible in soccer. And, this Chelsea side has given me a big headache. I stopped betting them. I stopped looking at their stats. This is just a poor leadership. The guy who owns them he said, I have the perfect formation, and he hands out a piece of paper with a 4-4-3 formation. So, it's just a small nugget of the craziness that goes on in the Chelsea office. So I'm looking at very few goals here, guys. First reason is, of course, that Manchester United, they need just 1 point, so they don't really have to open up. They know how to play defense. They match that good defense with Chelsea's struggling offense, and you got an under right there. Now, if you want to talk stats, let's talk stats. Manchester United are on a 5-0 run to the under 3 goals. In their last 16 matches, only 3 matches out of their last 16 had 4 goals or more. So if you bet the under 3 in each of their last 16 matches, you won 12 times, you pushed once, and you lost 3 times. So that's a really good, a really good stat to back in this match. And Chelsea in the last 11 to the under 3 goals, they have 7 wins, 3 losses, and 1 push. Now, Chelsea, they're all over the place. Their matches can go to the over 3.5 goals. They can stay to the 1 goal, So, but then you look at the head-to-head. 5-0 round to the under 3 goals. Only 2 of the last 11 matches between the sides had 4 goals or more. So I expect a very careful match on behalf of Manchester United. Of course, if Chelsea keep on struggling on the offensive end, that would be a very good bonus to the under 3. I just don't see 4 goals here. So if you bet on the under 3, it's a very good bet to make here. A very safe one. You only lose if there's 4 goals here. I can't rule that out, but I think there's going to be very few goals here. I think Manchester United get the job done with a bit of anxiety. So sign me up for the under 3 here. I think that's a very good price.
All right, like it, Pavlos. Brian, you look at United, and we saw it last weekend. They're offensive. They're a different team when Rashford isn't in the lineup. He's their leading goal scorer. He was coming off an injury and then picked up an illness, which is why he didn't play on the weekend. So we don't know what his game time status is. But it's like Pablo said, they only need a point, and they're secured Champions League next season. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, a lot of agreement here on a Tuesday morning on Stoppage Time because, I don't see a lot of goals here either. And again, United's going to get 1 point from these last 2 matches. I think we would all agree with that. Now, I did give out Chelsea plus 1.5 on the show last week. Certainly got a little lucky there in the sense that, as I mentioned in the previous analysis, they closed +1, and City basically just decided 1 goal would be enough, which it was. He talked about giving Chelsea credit. Carm, man, I watched that. That was just a sad effort. That was one of those boring matches I've seen in some time. Just the definition of toothless from Chelsea. I mean, the announcers were just ripping them for basically the whole match. I mean, 5 minutes in, they're like, it's looking like a long day for the Blues. And, luckily it was only 1-0 there. We don't have the luxury of plus 1.5 here, obviously, though. Do we go +1? Stranger things have happened. Just yesterday, as we mentioned earlier, we saw Newcastle, who needed just the 1 point to clinch top 4, play to the 0-0 draw with Leicester. But I think that's the only way a Chelsea +1 bet would cash if this ends up in a 0-0 draw. The better bet, as Pavlos just laid out, is to take the under 3.0. He talked about some of those recent results. If United score here, I think they just park the bus, guys, and are content the rest of the way. Same as City on Sunday. United's last 5 matches, 1-0 win over Aston Villa, 1-0 loss to Brighton, where the lone goal was scored deep into stoppage time, 1-0 loss to West Ham, 2-0 win over Wolves, and 1-0 win over Bournemouth. Obviously, not a lot of goals there. Kevin hit on just how stingy they've been at home. 6 straight clean sheets at Old Trafford, 1 each of the last 4. So, Chelsea, we know they struggle to score. I don't see them scoring here. And history's on our side too, guys. Last 5 meetings between these two teams, all have been draws. 3 were 1-1. The other 2, 0-0. Yeah, I don't see this getting to 3 goals. Give me the under in this one.
All right, there you have it. It's one of those Tuesdays, guys, where we tend to agree on the games. I think we're going to get a little bit of disagreement on this next one, and it is the final game on today's card. It is the Coppa Italia, which goes tomorrow. It is the final of the Italian Cup. Fiorentina and Inter Milan, the odds on this one. Fiorentina plus 270, the draw is plus 255. Milan is minus 101. Inter Milan. This game is being played at the Stadio Olimpico in Roma, so it's a neutral field game as well, too. Inter on a great run. They're into the Champions League final, but they come off a 3-1 loss, Pavlos, in their last game. But it's one in which I think you could have expected a letdown after that 1-0 win over AC Milan in Leg 2 of the Champions League. And also, they tinkered with the lineup a little bit. Obviously, Lautaro Martinez on the bench and Dzeko on the bench. You had, I think, Lukaku and Correa that started that one. A bit of a hangover there, and probably looking towards this game as well, too, and giving some of the guys in some of their midfield some rest as well, too. Give me your thoughts on this one. Is this a straightforward Inter Milan win? Because Fiorentina is playing well and have made it into the Europa Conference League championship game as well, too.
Yeah, well, Fiorentina were in a bit of a slump, because they had all these competitions to look out for. So just take their recent form with a grain of salt. But I think Inter Milan are the better side here. And also take their latest result with a grain of salt, because that 3-1 loss to Napoli, Inter Milan had a red card in the first half. And Milan, scored the first. Napoli scored the first goal in the 67th minute, and then scored a couple of goals in the 85th and 95th minute. So it wasn't such a big loss, as the final score suggests. So, Inter Milan, not only they're a better side, not only do they have a better roster, but they have a better coach as well. And Inzaghi has shown that he's very good. He's almost a mastermind. I don't want to use big words, but he's becoming one of the, of the elite coaches when it comes to knockout games and finals and stuff like that. He has a really big success rate. And, Inter Milan, they are the bigger side here. I think they can win within 90 minutes, but it's a final. So if I had to bet on something in terms of sides, I take Inter Milan. However, I'm not so sure if they can do it within 90 minutes. Now, I'm going elsewhere here because the total is also, a bit confusing for me. I'm going to take a player prop, and I'm going to take Fiorentina's Sofiane Amrabat to be carded at plus 210. Now, that's a very big price for, Amrabat has grabbed the most yellow cards for Fiorentina this season. He was carded in each of the last 2 matches against Inter, both league matches actually this season. And, he plays in the midfield. And Inter Milan, they play this 3-5-2 formation. They stack that midfield. And, there's going to be a lot of battles between Amrabat, who's going to be the main, the main defense. He's always in charge of not letting the other team advance. And even though, Inter Milan, they like to advance down both flanks with, their wing backs, they sometimes do. They do create a lot of chances through the middle because they have Mkhitaryan there. Actually, Mkhitaryan is injured. They have Çalhanoğlu there. They have Barella. They have Brozovic, who are also very card friendly. So there are points where Inter Milan will try to force their way down the middle, and it's always up to Sofiane Amrabat to cut those lanes down. Maybe tackle if Sometimes you have these holding midfielders who would rather get a yellow card for themselves, but cut down an opposing offense than not do that. So Sofiane Amrabat has been a defensive juggernaut both for Morocco in the World Cup, we saw that, and for Fiorentina this season. I think he has a lot on his plate in this final. So I'm going to take Sofian Amrabat to be carded at plus 210. That's a big price.
All right, that is a big price. I'm not sure, Brian. I'm going to go to you next on this one. Whether I'm leaning to goals or not. The two games these two played in Serie A action this year, this season, were almost polar opposites. The first game, Inter goes to Fiorentina. Mkhitaryan, like 95th minute goal, settles it 4-3 final in that one, and then Fiorentina goes to Inter and a Bonaventura second half goal and a 1-0 final. So both away teams getting a win in a different fashion. Is this going to be a close-knit one, or do we see some goals here, Bri?
Well, there's a lot to unpack here, Carp. Inter still in play for a top 4 finish in Serie A, which now looks a little bit easier with Juventus getting that 10-point penalty reinstituted yesterday, kind of shaking up the table. Of course, they've got the big one as well. Inter does on June 10th, the Champions League final against Manchester City. Fiorentina, you talked about this at the top, Carm. This is their first of 2 chances to qualify for next season's Europa League. They have no shot at finishing in the European places in Serie A, but they've got this match. If they win, it's automatic qualification for the Europa League. And then, of course, the Europa Conference League final against West Ham coming up as well. Obviously, both teams want to win this, though, a domestic cup. Inter already with one piece of hardware in this year's trophy case. They won the Supercoppa, beating AC Milan back in January. Pavlos hit on this, and I would strongly concur. Inter, while they've been inconsistent in the league this season, you do have to take Sunday's loss with a grain of salt. By the way, bettors were betting that one like it was already over. If you looked at the WagerTalk odds screen in the morning, I mean, the line movement towards Napoli was quite severe. But you throw that result out, in my opinion. Pavlos mentioned the red card. When at full strength, I have said this before on the show multiple times the last couple weeks. I think Inter's the best team in Italy right now. They've won 7 of 8 overall by an aggregate of 23-6. They are just better than Fiorentina. They've won 11 of the last 12 league meetings. They are minus 240 to win the cup. So I think at plus 100 to win inside 90 minutes plus stoppage time, it's a good value. That would be how I would play this one. I don't think we need added time here. Give me Inter to win its second piece of hardware here in the 2022-2023 season.
All right. And we will give the final word to the Irishman. Kev, give us your thoughts on this one.
I came across an interesting stat earlier, Carmine, that showed 4 of the last 8 Coppa Italia finals were all tied at the end of regulation. Yet only one of those went on to finish in a penalty shootout. So we have seen a predominance of these kind of finals going into extra time. I obviously follow all the data, especially in the European campaigns. Fiorentina have some really strong numbers, especially offensively over 2023. But you would say in this competition, look, they benefited from the easier side of the draw, no question, this one. And they have just, one win across the last 14 head-to-heads against Inter overall, albeit it was the very last game they played. So, yeah, I mean, look, you'd have to favour Inter in this one, given their recent run of form. But I'll combine those two for a bit of pizza money here on Wednesday night and look towards Inter to win this one in extra time, a plus 1,100. Looks like a big price, and I'd rather take a piece of that for a bit of pizza coffee money on Wednesday.
I like the pizza.
Woo!
The pizza play, Kev. I love those pizza plays, so I will take advantage of that one, and we'll just hope for a little extra time, and that bet cashes, and then we'll cheer on a winner after that. Guys, we're going to get into the recap section, and I just want to find out what you guys have up at WagerTalk. So we'll kick it off with Pavlos. Pavlos, let us know what you have up at WagerTalk, what's loaded, and we'll have a look at your leans on today's show.
Okay, first of all, I have a free play in the US Open Cup tonight between LAFC and Los Angeles Galaxy. Huge match. I love it. You can go at my page and check out the free play. Now, I have a 5% League One total for Saturday, already loaded. I'm 10-1 with this 4% and 5% plays in the League One this season, and number 2 at WagerTalk since the soccer season started back in June with 5% releases, 14-21. And I do have one more play for the Copa Libertadores that I forgot to mention tonight. A 4% best bet.
All right. Best of luck to you. Brian, I know you got a big play up tonight. Tell us about it, and we'll have a look at your leans.
Yep, mentioned at the top, Carb 12-2. Our last 14 in MLB, number one. Last 3 days, last 7 days in baseball. Number one, going back to last October in baseball, up 73.3 units. This is the big one, 5% play. Very rare. We are 73% with all 5% plays across all sports going back to late December. And for just $4 extra, you can get not only that 5% MLB play, but my NBA winner for tonight. I don't have to tell Kevin tonight. After tonight, we could have a long hiatus until the NBA Finals as the Celtics look to avoid the sweep against the Miami Heat. So 5% MLB plus the NBA winner. You can get them both for just $39 at my page right now. I'm getting ready to attack this midweek, easy for me to say, La Liga slate here in a moment. Already have the play I talked about on Brighton up on my page. You can read that if you didn't like just listening to me talk about it. So going to be a busy Wednesday and Thursday in soccer, but first we cash the 5% play in Major League Baseball tonight.
Let's get that bread. And speaking of bread and dough, this guy's full of dough with his run. Kevin Dolan, let us know what you have up at WagerTalk.
Yeah, fully loaded midweek card over at WagerTalk. Carmine, we got a La Liga triple pack loaded up for Wednesday. We got a European best bet up for Thursday. We got a double pack up in soccer for Friday as well. Plus, as Brian mentioned, big NBA play loaded up for tonight's card as well. 25-12 run on NBA best bets. And because it's customer appreciation, $1 play is also up for the UEFA finals as well right now. You started it, Carmine. Just a way to say thank you to everyone for joining us for the UEFA seasons this year. You got the big one in the Champions League. I'll let you take care of that. But yeah, mine's up in the Europa Conference League. Grab it for only $1. So yeah, looking forward to another strong week ahead.
All right, get to it. And yes, that is correct. I've been doing it since 2018 when I started at WagerTalk. The Champions League final, you get it for $1. And I add a bunch of prop plays in there as well too. And we've hit some really good prop plays, especially in that Liverpool-Tottenham one with the exact score, penalty in the first half. Most a lot to score a penalty. A lot of good props. So we'll see if we can cash some more and you get that for $1. Again, a 5% play up in NHL tonight. Puck time is at the top of the hour. And guys, we're going to be back on Thursday, but I also want to mention, of course, because today is Tuesday, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention it's $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk and Sports Memo. $2 Tuesdays where you get a features cappers plays for only $2. And these are plays that normally go for $25 and $35. Ralph Michaels, 75% MLB, 5% play going tonight. You can get that for only $2. Over at Sports Memo, 2 cappers. You can get them each for $2 or together for $3. Rocky Atkinson with an MLB play of the day and Cajun Sports with another MLB play as well too. Get them both together for $3 or separately for $2. And there's some great promos inside the analysis section. For myself, Brian Power, Pavlos and Kevin Dolan, and our producer, Dan Alexander. This is a Stoppage Time. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and good luck with your wagers.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.